Ever stop to think about that Wi-Fi password you type in almost every day? You know, it's more than just a password. It's the key to your digital front door. And the lock on that door? Well, it's been at the center of this incredible, decades-long arms race between the people building the locks and the people trying to break them. So today, we're going to dive into the story of how our wireless security went from being a completely broken padlock to a modern digital fortress.
Now, before we jump in, just a quick note. This is actually part 3 of a much larger 10-part series. It's all based on a really detailed report on Wi-Fi and Bluetooth by the pros over at RFI Detectives, who are part of Virtualization Options LLC. Okay, let's get into it.
So, let's start with a question that really gets to the heart of it for all of us. Why is that Wi-Fi password so critical? And why does it feel like the rules for what makes a good password keep changing all the time? Well, the answer is a pretty fascinating trip through some amazing cryptographic breakthroughs and some, pretty catastrophic failures.
Our story kicks off way back in 1997 with the very first attempt to secure our wireless networks. It was called WEP, and to put it gently, it was a deeply, deeply flawed foundation.
I mean, the name itself, Wired Equivalent Privacy, that's a pretty bold promise, right? The idea was that connecting to Wi-Fi should be just as safe and secure as literally plugging a cable into your computer. The irony? WEP didn't just fail to live up to that promise, it failed so spectacularly that it's now a textbook example of how not to build a security system.
So how did it all go so wrong? Well, WEP had 3 fatal flaws. First, something called IV reuse. The IV is just a random number that helps scramble the data. The problem was, WEP's random numbers weren't very random at all, and they got reused constantly, sometimes in just a few hours. Reusing a key is pretty much the cardinal sin of this type of encryption. Second, some of these keys were weak, meaning they literally leaked clues about the main password. And third, its integrity check was so flimsy an attacker could actually change data while it was flying through the air, and nobody would ever know. It was like a lock with the combination printed right on the front.
The final nail in the coffin came in 2004, when WEP was officially put out of its misery. And the verdict is crystal clear. WEP offers zero, and I mean zero, meaningful security. If you see a network still using it today, just assume every single thing on it is wide open for the world to see. This failure created a massive, urgent crisis for the entire wireless industry.
Okay, so with WEP completely shattered, the industry was in a full-blown panic. They needed a fix, and they needed it yesterday. This led to an emergency patch that was rushed out to stop the bleeding, WPA, or Wi-Fi Protected Access. And as you can see here, WPA was a direct answer to WEP's biggest problems. To fix that whole key reuse disaster, it brought in something called TKIP, which basically mixed up a new, fresh key for every single packet of data. To fix the terrible integrity check, it added a much stronger cryptographic check called MICAEL. And to get rid of that single static password, it introduced the 4-way handshake, which creates unique keys for every single device that connects.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one. WPA was just a Band-Aid. It had to be. It was designed to work on the old hardware that was already out there, which means it was still built on that same aging RC4 encryption WEP used. It was a brilliant stopgap measure, but it was never, ever meant to be the permanent solution.
That permanent cure? Well, that arrived in 2004. It became the absolute gold standard for well over a decade, and is probably what your home network has been using for years. Let's talk about the long-reigning king, WPA2.
You see, WPA2 was a total revolution. It didn't just patch the old system. It ripped out that compromised RC4 foundation and replaced it with AES, the Advanced Encryption Standard. We're talking about the same heavy-duty encryption used by governments and banks to protect their most sensitive secrets. It was so important that it became mandatory for all Wi-Fi certified devices back in 2006, forcing the whole industry to level up its security game.
But even this powerful new standard had a weak spot, an Achilles heel. While the AES encryption itself was rock solid, a clever attacker could still capture the digital handshake that happens when you first connect. They could take that handshake home with them and use powerful computers to just guess your password over and over, billions of times a second. This meant that the security of your entire WPA2 network really came down to just one thing: how strong your password was.
This chart here really lays out the whole journey beautifully. You can see the progression, right? From WEP's broken shield to WPA's quick patch-up job, and then to the much stronger armor of WPA2. You can see the pattern.
Each generation learns from the mistakes of the one before it. And that critical lesson from WPA2's vulnerable handshake? Well, that led directly to the digital fortress we have today.
And that brings us to the present day, to the modern fortress. Released in 2018, WPA3 was designed from the ground up to fix the exact problems that haunted WPA2. WPA3 brought 4 massive upgrades to the table. The absolute superstar is number 1, SAE authentication. It totally replaces that vulnerable handshake which makes those offline password guessing attacks completely impossible. It just doesn't work anymore. It also requires even stronger encryption, protects you from being randomly kicked off the network, and, this is fantastic, it adds automatic encryption to open networks. So now even that Wi-Fi at the coffee shop has a basic layer of privacy.
Okay, this table here, this is the entire evolution in one shot. Just follow the story down the rows. Look at the encryption column. You see it goes from the broken RC4 to the solid AES, and now to the even better AES in WPA3. Now look at key exchange. It goes from nothing to a vulnerable handshake, and finally to the modern SAE protocol. It's a complete story of learning and getting stronger, all right here.
So we've gone through all this history. It's cool stuff, but what does it actually mean for you, for your network, right now? Why should you care? Let's turn this into some advice you can actually use. All right, here's your checklist. First and foremost, if your router supports WPA3, use it. If you've got some older gadgets that can't, use the WPA2/WPA3 transition mode, but start planning to replace those old devices. Next, you need to go into your router's settings and make 100% sure that WEP and the original WPA are turned off completely. And finally, keep your router's firmware updated. New threats pop up all the time, and those updates are your only defense.
And that brings us to the final question. After seeing this whole story, from a lock that was basically broken on day one to the fortress we have now, you really have to ask yourself, what kind of lock is on your digital front door? Is it a 20-year-old design that relies on just a password? Or is it a modern digital vault built to handle the attacks of today? The choice and the security of your entire digital life is really in your hands.